Welcome back to NBA Cinema. So I want to talk about KG and Paul Pierce breaking down Michael Jordan and Anthony Edwards reaching out to Michael Jordan, I should say. And I want to tie all these clips into each other because it'll make sense. Now I remember Kevin Garnett went in on Anthony Edwards when he tried to say, back in MJ's day, it wasn't that much skill and all that. I'll play a piece of that clip first and then we'll get into what he said because Anthony Edwards was talking about how he doesn't like being double teamed at this age. And it's something I can't understand for the life of me. Being double teamed used to be a compliment to the player that you are, but these players today like to complain about a double team or run from it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if two people zone me, three people zone me, one or two people are open. So you have to figure out how to play the game. But we know Anthony Edwards is reaching out to Michael Jordan and how he approached double teams. We're going to get into these clips. I got a lot to say about this, guys, but let's check it out.
Third quarter, you took one shot but had 5 assists, and you guys scored 34 points. Is that kind of the way forward for this right now, like to just get up as much as possible? And
Hell no. I mean, well, I'm sorry. Is that a cussing word?
No, you can say how. You're good.
I don't know, man. That was a good brand of basketball, but it's not how I want to play. Of course, I mean, I'm only 23. I don't want to just be passing the ball all night. You feel me? Like
you don't do Mike Conley.
Yeah, at all. But the way that they guarded me, I think I have to. So
I was gonna say, how hard is it to just stay engaged?
super hard. I mean, because I'm wired to score the ball.
Do you think that's what teams are trying to do to you, like mentally trying to take you out of the game?
I don't know. I don't.
You like that?
I mean, that might be a part of it, but I know they're just doing it. I don't know if like their plan is like let's mentally take them out, but because it don't like take me all the way out of the game, but it definitely frustrates me a little bit. But them doubling me definitely, it's like, bro, what is going on?
You ain't going back watching the games, Lord.
If I'm being honest, bro, I don't think anybody in this generation could have played like 20 years ago. If I'm being 100, and this is to everybody in our league, Tatum, all y'all. Let me tell y'all something, bro. 20 years ago, bro, you couldn't get to a triple step back.
No.
You hear what I'm saying to you? You couldn't get to a triple step back, and then if you shot that shit, it had to go in. You know why? Because we had efficiency back in the day, my dude, and it was so fucking hard. It was too physical. And guess what? The league had to come off of it for the flow of movement to be able to have scoring go up, which is why we like to sit here and watch kind of the rat race of the high-paced game, right? But, bro, let's not talk about the gamemanship, and let's not talk about the physicality of the game back then. Yeah, man, I think it's important to lock in with some of those, some of them OGs that can actually, that's been through it. You know, when I threw Anthony Edwards that, it was more of being able to have guys that's going through similar situations at your height, at your rate, the way you going. Like, bro, we've had players in the league that mirror what you're doing. You know, you should tap in with them and just to hear their perspective. Kobe did. A lot of people don't know how much Kobe and Mike Jordan actually shared conversations and talked, and Mike actually walked them through a lot of situations. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you never know none of that. And all of a sudden,
and that's kind of interesting to me because, like, when I think about the game and, like my advice, like, that I got from, like, older players or, greats was more, like, off the court because I exhausted everything I could with my study of the game. You know what I'm saying? I've been getting doubles since, like, high school. So by the time I got to the league, I already knew how to handle double teams. That's interesting that he would call somebody to ask that question because a lot of that come from let me watch the tape. Well, maybe if I start making this pass or doing this you gotta, I don't know if there's any advice somebody can give me other than that can ease my mindset, but to learn how to really get through it, you gotta watch film, you gotta go over situations, you gotta know the game. So, I mean, that you know what I'm saying? I can't talk to Kevin and say, hey, kid, how did you handle double teams and then expect to handle it the same way he handled it?
Well, it's a guide. You have a way that you do it, right? Once you get the knowledge, come to sing to you. That's all I.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. He's 6'5", 6'6". MJ was 6'5", 6'6". Get double team in all parts of it. Faster game.
Jordan not the right one to ask though.
Absolutely.
No, he's not. You
You're
know, because it was a different rules then.
First off,
the doubles is different today.
First off, he live. He live it. Lord, he don't come down, call a play. He live. Lord, get the ball out of bounds. He live right there. So when he coming down, he ain't like, hey, 4 or 450. He ain't calling no play.
I didn't see Jordan get trapped in the pick and rolls because he more in pick and roll than Jordan was.
Lord, he's playing like an early Jordan. Just hear me out. Jordan taking on double teams, beating the double teams, coming around, and then either dunking that motherfucker on both of them or reverse layup. And you understand? Like when you watch the Anthony Edwards we're watching, when I said what I said about 84 Jordan, is that young Jordan coming down here, He's fell in love with the three so much that he's not so much down here putting pressure on defense. But if you watch those two styles, he's down here, bro. He only takes those step backs and all that shit when we hit 3-point. I'm talking about how he attacks. That's all I'm saying.
If I could tell something to Anthony on advice on the doubles team, this is what I would tell him. Like, look, you got to trust your teammates because that's the only way you're not going to get double no more. When I started learning that to where I'm not now, I'm just going to come out here and pick y'all apart. I'm going to take the double team on. I know if he double from here, I know he going to be open. If he double from the baseline, I know this going to be open. So when I started doing that, dissecting y'all, it was like, hey, hesitant to double now because it's cause and effect now. So once I learned that, it was like, oh, I know I'm gonna be patient now because I know y'all take more patience and trust your teammates.
But a coach is walking you through that. You're not watching film by yourself. Someone's sitting here talking.
I'm gonna see it. I'm studying too.
No, I got that. But a coach is helping you understand what you're seeing and then how to actually go about it.
Yeah.
Same thing. There's nothing wrong with tapping in, bro.
Ain't nothing wrong with tapping in.
That's all I was saying.
No,
that's all I was saying.
Ain't nothing wrong
he should call Vince Carter. He should call fucking Tracy McGrady. These are all great ones. Steph, yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody in the game is going to actually share and be real with him. He can't call KD and get some, you know what I'm saying? So you can't expect that. They're still in competition. But all these old guys who actually played it and had their version of what he's going through, I thought could actually help him. But yeah, listen. This is when players, and you know this, P, every player has to go through this. For you to take growth, you got to go through something that's a real cone or a real hurdle in your development. And once you actually get over that hurdle, your development and everything else goes to it. So this is the point where Anthony Edwards goes from here to here. Because once he figures that out, once he learns to trust, once he stops thinking like, you know what, I got to score it. You know what, let me get off it. Let me come off a pick. Like once he starts thinking
when I started learning that ticket, you know what happened?
The IQ of the game has to raise, boy, for your productivity to go. Yeah.
The game slowed down. Once I realized that, I knew what was going to happen before it was going to happen. It slowed down.
And then you trust it too, bro.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when you're young, you chase it.
He's starting to get to that point.
Nah, he going to get to a point where he understands that this is my team. It's coming through me. Let me have a patience. But yeah, this is just growth to me, man.
Paul Pierce was right. In the sense that, like, understanding the double team, you're getting that. If you had any decent coaching or you allowed yourself to be coached when you were younger and the coach wasn't just happy to have your talent on the team, everybody understood a double team. Now, they may come faster. The court will shrink as you go up in levels because the athletes and their awareness, basketball IQ goes up every time you go up in levels, yes. But all in all, a double team is a double team, and you got to recognize the double team. Now, you start talking about Michael Jordan early on. Yes, MJ could come down coast to coast, and a lot was in front of him on defense, but he still had a better fundamental base of basketball. You know, just going to Carolina, playing under Dean Smith, already having stars there in James Worthy and others. As back in those days, Michael Jordan, for all his great exploits and everything he was able to do being way better than the common freshman and all that, he had to defend his way on the court. I remember, do you guys remember when Vince Carter was at Carolina that first year and he didn't play as much, had to become a better defender, was already talented offensively and everything, but had to defend his way on the court. It was a lot more earned, and the way that you got on the court is different. Now these guys, they're on draft boards in the 10th grade. You know, they're in 9th, 10th grade, they're on a future NBA draft board. And so Every time a coach gets them at every level, they put the ball right in their hands. Or they'll go to the coach that promises them the most playing time, ball in hands, right away. I get to dominate on offense, and so you're kind of given that and not having to earn your way on the court with intangibles as an underclassman, when you go to college and all that. So I say all that to say someone like MJ, even though he could reach out to MJ had that fundamental base, was able to kind of grow into a star role. Was a star even at Carolina as a freshman, but had other stars ahead of him as well. Um, got to the NBA, downhill player, very athletic. And I want to say this: they were comparing Anthony Edwards and Michael Jordan's athleticism and measurables. There is no comparison for Anthony Edwards. You start talking about vertical athleticism, yes. I'm more so looking at a few other things though. You talk about speed. MJ was a faster player, and if you look at Jordan's hands, his hands are bigger than Kawhi Leonard. So there's other things. Even if Jordan is double team, he could just hold the ball out like a grapefruit, with his hand, and make the pass because he's blessed with those hands that are bigger than Kawhi's. Are you hearing what I'm saying? His hands are bigger than the claws. So that some of these other things make you a freak of nature too, as well. But as far as what Paul Pierce is saying, mentality would be the only thing because your double team is going to look different. You play a totally different style. Um, Now, how to handle the double team as far as your team, that's going to be based off the offensive set, where you fit in the offense, where the defense is coming from. But the key to a double team and recognizing it is seeing it before it develops. When you start cooking, right, they're going to send more players your way. You're the focal point on offense. So somebody like Anthony Edwards is talented enough. First step is lethal enough to where that first defender, you're going to get by that person most times. You're going to get by that initial line of defense. The only thing, I would say to that is, playing with pace and recognition, especially if you're going to always start on the perimeter. Now, if you start on the block, on a smaller player, you could recognize that the defense a lot of times is going to come from behind you. So, before you make the catch, you got to scope out everything on the court, and see where people are at. Because people are going to try to creep and crawl and come around the corner, swipe you from the left, swipe you from the right, try to get it on catch. Maybe someone drops down from the perimeter off the entry pass, and then, a quick pass out, or somebody may come from cross court, skip pass. You're talented enough to recognize that. And you're going to see that the rest of your career. That's why I was disappointed when Devin Booker and some of those guys was talking about a double team. That's one of those things that, okay, if your players don't make the open shots or whatever, you got to trust your teammates. So if they then the organization can start to say, okay, well, we need this type of player. It helps with identification of the roster that it takes to win a championship around you too. When you start trusting your teammates, because they start to eliminate themselves when you are the focal point of the franchise. They eliminate themselves from being on the team because they don't complement your game very well. And so I would like to not hear Anthony Edwards say it frustrates me and all these things. And it's going to really be about his mind state. You can't say it frustrates you and that you don't like it. You should love it. You should love being double teamed because that's a chance for you to see. I'll say this and I'll leave you with this. When they're double teaming you and your other guys get engaged and now they're engaged offensively, the defense of the rest of the roster picks up. It's funny how that always happens. When everyone touches the ball and everyone eats, everyone is more engaged on both ends of the floor. And that's no fluke. So you should be actively trying to figure out how to be double teamed. You should practice, in the off season, getting double teamed. When you playing your pickups and stuff. And these little runs are cute where you dribble by one guy and you throw it down on baller's life and all that. Okay, cool. Get in an actual situation where guys are doubling you. Devin Booker should have been clamoring for them to double team him at the end of the game. A double team is a sign of respect, man. So yeah, I'm glad he reaching out, but again, it's gonna have to be his mentality. Michael Jordan can't magically make you like double teams. So pick his brain, yes, definitely do that. But now you gotta implement and you gotta have your head on strong. You already said get you out your game. Have your head on strong whenever it comes around next time. And that's all I got to say, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time.